Hey there. So I just lost a whole live feed because my phone is busted. I can't actually type on the left side of the phone. So I can't end and save my live stream. I was trying to do a quick introduction to my character creation classes, which I had planned to do during this time, and I had to postpone them, unfortunately. But I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that I use to create my character. So I'm going to do it as briefly as possible. My hair reminded me of a play I was once in. I did here in Panama City a long time ago. It's called Spring Awakening in English. In Spanish it was called Despertar de Primavera. I did it with Producciones Talingo. And for those of you who don't know, it's a German play from, I think it's a late 19th century play or early 20th century, I don't remember, but it's a German play. In German, I think it's called Frühlingserwachen, and I was taught by a co-worker of mine many years ago. In this play, I played mothers, three mothers, a piano teacher, a piano professor, and then also another professor who was assistant to the principal, I think. So one of them was a mother who was sort of jittery, all over the place. She was out of control. She didn't know what to do with herself in every sense. She was sort of protective with her daughter, but she didn't know how to control what she did or spoke, and she didn't want to upset her daughter with truths. You know, it was kind of difficult. The other one was another kind of mother. I'm going to silence this. Where is it? The other one was kind of the more appropriate mother. She was all in her children's lives, and she was proper and well-mannered. The other one was a mother who carried a lot of guilt with her, and she felt, she had a daughter who was abused, sort of on the bad side of things, and she didn't know how to deal with it. She sort of denied it to herself, to her daughter. And then the piano professor was sort of like, but she was very strict at the same time. Her student loved her. And then the reproachful sort of professor who thought everybody had to fail and was bad in class. So the other thing that I remember was that my hair was really crazy, and I couldn't brush it for days after each scene or each night, the presentations. So that's that. And the reason I think I'm remembering, other than my hair, is that I'm drinking coolatta, which is really delicious, white chocolate coolatta, for those of you who don't know how to make it. It's vegan. I will share the recipe at some other point, because that's beside the point at the moment. I was thinking about the ego, what the ego wants and the ego gets. It's part of my process of creating characters within concepts. So the ego is a concept. This concept, very fast, was created by Freud, who they call the father of all psychology. He believed that we have an underlying desire for things that is that derives from our nature, and it fights with a nurturing system that we get as we grow older. So his ideas were, the basis for all psychology in a sense. And then there's another psychologist, the ideals of the psychologist that I like. He sort of branched out from Freud, was Jung. Carl Jung was sort of more systematic, in my opinion, and he formed another kind of idea that had to do with this. It was the unconscious, the collective unconscious, which I've spoken about, I've written about. So his concept was a little bit different. And although I agree more with Jung's teachings, I am going to go with Freud's for this. So the specifics here are that when someone is trying to create a character, you go from scratch. These women that I did in this play were not from scratch. I had to watch a whole lot of video and listen to people perform it on stage and off, and try to understand them with my college class knowledge and a little bit of what I was taught within this Talingo group for my understanding of these characters, because I had to go from one to the other really quickly within scenes. It was really difficult at the time, but I feel like I mastered it, and it felt really good. I had to understand each of these women. Where were they coming from? Who they were? You have to ask questions like, who are they? What they eat? Where they go? How do they feel about their parents? Why are they so jittery, or, so closed off? There's a lot of it that you have to investigate. And investigating for characters is what made me, in my opinion, a better writer, because the characters don't feel flat. They feel dimensional. They have a shape, a form that I enjoy to develop from. So from that concept, we have the ego divided into, the subconscious divided into three categories: the id, the superego, and the ego. The id being the most superficial one, the one that poses these things, these desires that we have to complete. It's the immediacy of the subconscious mind. And then we have the superego, which is, it restrains us a little bit more, and it has a sense of morality. And then to finalize, the ego, which is the sort of shaper of this concept that Freud created. The ego has the judgmental power here. It debates the pros and cons and realizes what's good and what isn't. So I'm going to go from there, give you this a little bit. I'll give you a little bit of time to sort of think about it. And then I'll tell you a little bit of a line from a poem I created, in explaining more of these concepts and telling you why and how we sort of have to go from concepts into writing. It forms better characters, and I think they're more believable if we do it in this way. So stay tuned. This is part 1. Part 2 will be more in depth of the id, the superego, and the ego, and a little character lesson, more for acting but also for writing, whichever side of those two tables you're on. See you soon.